experience from like this year,
Yeah,
like
this
overall,
year
yeah. I
and
mean,
moving forward.
yeah. Again, I mean, as a goalkeeper, you're gonna have ups and downs. I think that's just the nature of the position. Rarely is going to be a perfect go around every single time. So, I'm learning along the way. I'm getting experience. Yeah, the result wasn't what we wanted tonight, but again, there's something to, hard to find a positive, but there's something like you learn from it. So, I'm just going to keep on moving forward and continue to grow as a goalkeeper, grow as a leader, grow as a person, and I believe like who you are off the field feeds into the kind of player you are. So that's again like I'm continually developing as just a person. I think that'll help out my performances. And yeah, I think at the end of the day, like you have to compete, you have to give it all you have, you have to treat every game like it's your last. Because there are in some instances that the game you're playing could be your last in the season, or you never really know. So yeah, I'm just really. Present in this moment, yeah, it wasn't the result that we wanted, but I'm gonna take what I can from this and hopefully come back stronger next year.
Trey, tough loss. Do you think that the team fell short for the expectations for this playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, I think you think of the opportunity we had to make a deep playoff run. I mean, this was again like the first round. You have to win games, regardless of the format, whether it's one game, 2 games, 3 games. It's kind of like the stakes are high. So it feels like we came up short. We lost by 1 goal. First round of playoffs. It's like you want to go further. You want to go all the way, and that's not what happened. So again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but learning from it's important. That's just the result, and that's what you have to live with. And hopefully that feeling sticks with guys. Because it's not a good feeling, and now, I felt it in the past before, and that's why you work so hard so you don't feel it again. But there's some things you can't control. There's some things that happen, and you have to live with it. So yeah, it's gonna wake up tomorrow, and, fresh day, and just figure out how to get better for next year.
What was said in the locker room?
It's pretty quiet. I think guys are just frustrated. Everyone's frustrated. Everyone's, it's when you lose at home in a game like this, it's not easy to do for anyone. You're like a team sport. You have leaders. You have guys who you look up to. Lead the team, and in this case, everyone. It seemed like everyone, from top to bottom, was kind of dealing with it in their own way. And that's okay. There's not one way to deal with a loss. So hearing the other guys and to celebrate, that's a tough one. And again, it's life. Like, am I pissed off? Yeah. Does it suck? Yeah. It's pretty low point of the year. Terrible way to end the year. Are there positives from the year? Yes. But again, it's that's the reality, and that's what we have to live with.
And talking about Brad and his performance, he was the best thing for Atlanta.
Yeah. Brad was a huge factor, I think, of why Atlanta's moving on. Even at 40 years old, is still very effective. You can see the experience. You can see you can see him do his thing. He made a lot of great saves, a lot of great decisions. He was a brick wall back there for them, and it helped them advance to the next round of playoffs.
Drake, how much did you think it impacted the game that you guys switched from a back 5 to a back 4, given how much you guys have played in the back 5 as of late, given that Yannick was a monster, recovering balls defensively, given that you knew Atlanta United was going to sit back, counter, and look for those spaces in transition. I mean, how much do you think that impacted things today?
Yeah, I mean, we have to adapt. It's unfortunate that Yannick wasn't able to be with us, and we're all versatile players. We can play in the back 4, we can play in the back 5. High stakes games like this, whether you're in the back 4, back 5, you're gonna have to figure out a way to win. You have to go for it. I think there's strategy involved, but that was just the result of the game, and I think we all could have done better. Doesn't mean in the moment that we weren't giving it all we had. I think we were. You know, guys are playing 90 plus minutes the entire year. You know, you get to November and you know you only have so much left in like the tank. But you know that's the adrenaline, that's the grit, that's the willpower that you have to perform. And you know, unfortunately, we didn't get the result we needed.
I get the idea of wanting to attack it for the goals and put this game away early. But do you think you guys played into their hands, knowing that they're going to sit back, knowing that they're going to counter, knowing that this defense hasn't been at its best this year at some periods? It's been the weakness of this team at times. Do you think you played into their hands by switching to a back door and leaving more spaces in behind?
No, I mean, again, like I said, back 4, back 5. I mean, you know, there's only so much you can control with your other team. You know, at some point you have to focus on yourselves and what your team's going to do and how you guys are going to play. And that was our decision, and we didn't win the game.
What is this process like for you, Drake, moving forward? How much time do you take off? How much time do you reflect on what happened?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long year. You know, I think specifically this game will probably stick out more than others because it's our last game of the year. I mean, this is motivation for next year. You know, it sucks. You know, it hurts. Wanting to get more for our fans, for the people who support us all year long, home and away. This one will definitely stick with me, you know, and that will kind of keep the fire going to get better next year and get more and do more. And, you know, you can reflect and question, you know, what went wrong, what you can do better, how to improve, how to fix things. It'll definitely take some time, but again, like life moves on, and there's only so much benefit from living in the past. But again, hindsight 2020, I can look back and say, all right, I should have done this, this, and this. But in the moment, it is what it is.
Drake, I wonder, what was the reaction in the locker room after the game? And did anyone stand up and say anything? Did Messi say anything after the game?
I think everyone's kind of just in their own moment. You know, I think it's tough to kind of find words for the group. You know, everyone's experiencing it. It was just, you know, low energy. You know, it's like it's the end of our year. You know, it's I think we all expected more of ourselves, and we all, you know, really felt like, you know, this was a game we could have won, and we didn't. So we're all, you know, kind of just taking it however we take it. And maybe some guys chimed in here or there, but for the most part, it was pretty quiet.
What are your thoughts on that?
Is there the weight of the expectations to win after winning Supporters Shield, having number 1 seed, 2 MVPs on your team, so many players, you know, like yourself in finalists for awards? Like, was there a weight of expectation on you guys that you felt maybe as the game kind of got right down to the end, or even at the beginning of it?
Expectation, I don't know, man. I felt like, yeah, you can look back and say, you know, we did all these things this year, Supporters Shield, points record. But at the end of the day, you know, playoffs, it's like a new landscape. You know, you got to be able to beat the team that you're lining up against. And I mean, I think every team has to believe that they're going to win the MLS Cup, because if you don't, then the team you're playing against probably has that mentality, and they're all hunting for the trophy. So, the mentality going into each game is to win. The expectation is to win and move on. And when that doesn't happen, you know, it hurts pretty bad. And, you know, I think that's what we are experiencing right now.
Drake, what are your thoughts on their third goal? The fact that they played on with Tomas down on the field. What did you think about that? What do you guys think about that in general?
I mean, it's tough. It's, you know, 1 goal's tough, 2 goals is tough. 3 goals at that point in the game was difficult. I mean, they played on what we would have played on if we had an attack, and, you know, we're looking to win the game probably. Could the ref blow his whistle? Maybe. I don't know. I was in the moment. I was trying to defend the goal and make the save, and I didn't, you know, and that's something that I have to live with. And I have to look back and say, all right, like, what could I have done better to make a big save in a big moment and help my team potentially win the game? So that was what happened. They played on, they scored, and we paid for it.
Drake, I'm sorry, I wasn't here right before.
Yeah, what's going on? It's, you know, we're like 10 minutes.
I was talking.
Okay.
I'm just wondering what the mood is like
at home. The third game, it's to have an opportunity to advance to the next round of playoffs at home. To not do it, it hurts. So there's not one way to deal with it. Some guys express themselves, some guys stay quiet. It is what it is, and I feel like it's just one of those things where it's almost hard to find words. If anything, it's more body language. So you could just tell, it was pretty low. I really just had my face in my hands and just took a moment, just processed everything. Yeah, that's kind of what it was like.
You said real quick that you guys were kind of on fumes a little bit, getting to November. Was the season too long for you guys? You can date it back to the worldwide tour?
I mean, I think every year is a long year. The majority of preseason starting the end of January, and MLS Cup is in December, and that's what every team goes through. So yeah, are there international breaks? Are there some days off? There are. And as a professional, you have to take advantage of those. You have to do what you can to be as prepared as possible. But in this sport, how the game is played. You're probably going to get tired at some point. We're all human, we're not machines. So the good thing is we know what we're getting ourselves into, and that's something that you have control over is, how much sleep you get, what you're eating, what your recovery process is like. So yeah, it's a long year, but again, if you're doing the right things, then, you should be, ready to play in games like this.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
Drake, thank you for doing that.